Fighting for Life by Lila Rose, Chapter 25. Celebrate Life Unconditionally. Katerina was doing better after her stay at the treatment center, but she was still struggling. She had left San Francisco State University and was working as a legal assistant. Now living at home, Kat was often at odds with our parents. In recovery from her eating disorder, she was trying to find new direction for her life. Her aimlessness, smoking, and wanting to stay out late or to sleep over at her new boyfriend's house added to the tension. For all the inevitable strife, Kat and my parents were trying to make their relationship work. They knew she needed a stable place to live. I tried to spend as much time as I could with her, but I was juggling a busy schedule full of travel, events, and media for live action. If that were not enough, I had recently met my future husband, the guy who was not just the average Joe, and he lived 90 minutes away. One early morning in February at 12:23 a.m., a text from Kat lit up my phone. "Lurs, can we get coffee soon?" "Of course," I responded quickly. "When do you want to meet?" "ASAP." I immediately sensed something major was up. I was going to be busy the next day, but I knew I could move my plans around. "Tomorrow?" I asked. "Yes." We decided to meet at a coffee shop near her work. As soon as I got there, I could sense her anxiety. We ordered coffee and sandwiches. She picked at her food. What is up, sis?" I asked gently. I wanted to respect her space, but I also wanted her to know how much I cared about whatever she was going through. "I need you not tell Mom, Dad, or anyone else," she began nervously. "But I missed my period." "Oh, wow," I said, less in surprise than in concern. "Did you take a pregnancy test yet?" "No." I saw the fear on her face. I reached over and hugged her. "Listen, sis, we are going to figure this out. I am here to support you, 100%, I reassured her. "If you are pregnant, I've got your back." "Thanks, Lurs," Kat said. Her gratitude was real. "Would the baby be with Alan?" I asked. She nodded. Alan was a new boyfriend, a guy she had met through one of our brothers. Kat had just started seeing him about 2 months before. I hadn't met him yet, but I knew he and Kat had quickly become friends. Two adrenaline junkies, they both loved driving fast on mountain roads and climbing cliffs on the California coast. The fact that she had, at least on occasion, stayed overnight at his apartment prompted some of the fights between her and our parents. "Do you want to go take a pregnancy test together, sis?" I asked. I wanted to protect her, support her. If she were pregnant, to protect her baby. Kat struggled a lot, and I didn't yet know enough about Alan to trust him. "Sure, let's do it," she said. We got into my car and headed to CVS. Katerina picked the most accurate pregnancy test we could find, a 2-pack called Early Detection. "Let's just do it in the bathroom here," she said. I agreed. There was no better place to go close by, and our parents' house, even if it had been close, was exactly the wrong place for something this sensitive. I bought the test kit, and we got to the CVS bathroom key. The single-stall bathroom was cleaner than what you might find at a gas station, but not by much. We had to laugh. It was so not the place a woman wants to learn she is about to be a first-time mom. "Ready?" I said. We both smiled nervously. Kat opened the box and took out the instructions. I told her she could just go ahead and pee on the stick, but she wanted to read every word. Then she took the test. We stood breathlessly, watching the stick slowly reveal 2 faint pink lines. "I'm pregnant," she whispered. "Oh, sis, I'm so happy. Congratulations." "I can't believe it," I said, tears welling up in my eyes. She looked one part surprised, one part terrified, one part elated. "Wow. Okay, thank you. I'm pregnant." "Sis, I'm here to support you, 100%, I repeated. "Whatever you need. I know our family is going to support you and this baby." We left CVS, and Kat asked me to drop her off at work. She joked about needing to give up cigarettes. I told her confidently I knew she could do it and that this baby would help her be healthier than ever. Driving away, I felt a pang of anxiety. I knew Kat was pro-life. I knew she could be brave, but I also knew that earlier in her life she had lived in some dark spaces emotionally. The Katerina I knew would not even consider abortion, but I could not suppress my fears. Alan did not share our background or all of our values. I had no way of knowing whether he would support Kat's choice for life. Thousands of questions loomed about how my baby sister would grow to the role of a mother, or, if she chose instead, how she would navigate the adoption process. Despite my concerns, I felt a strong sense of peace. This baby was not an accident, but a gift from God. I sensed that this little life would help Kat turn her life around, awakening in my sister the powerful love and bravery deep inside her. She had shown the courage to accept healing for the sake of her own life. I had witnessed that. Now I preach something more, the privilege of witnessing my sister's powerful yes to her child's life. After dropping Kat off at work, I headed over to my parents' house. I wanted to be there when Kat got home. My mom was out of town visiting our grandparents in Tennessee, but my dad and my sister Nina were home. Neither suspecting anything when I came over, I often dropped in to visit and spend the night. Throughout the rest of the day, Katerina and I continued to text. I can be here if you want to tell Dad or FaceTime Mom and tell her, I told her. But no rush or pressure, whenever you feel ready. I knew she needed their support, and as difficult as I knew the news that their 19-year-old daughter was pregnant would be, I knew they would do everything they could to help her. Later that night, Katerina and I sat at our parents' kitchen table, talking quietly about her pregnancy. My dad was upstairs in his study reading. I'm just terrified about what they will say, Kat said to me. They will be so disappointed. Maybe they will kick me out. I have no idea how I'm going to do this. They won't kick you out, sis, I assured her. I could only imagine what she was feeling. I had talked to a lot of girls in similar positions over the years. I had seen how overwhelming the fear could be. Look, I know Mom and Dad don't approve of sex outside of marriage, but they will love this baby. Over the years, I've come to reflect a lot on the whole concept of unexpected pregnancy. I think that our society has set up whole generations of young women and men for failure in this regard. We tell young people that sex outside of marriage is normal and even healthy, as long as no children are conceived or diseases contracted. Just make sure you don't get pregnant, is the common advice. We are told to practice safe sex to avoid creating a new life. But I think this view of sex and children is totally backward. It is sex outside of marriage that is wrong, not bringing new children into the world. In sex without marriage, two people give each other their bodies in the most intimate way, but haven't promised each other their love, their commitment, and their fidelity. Sex without marriage is ultimately a lie that we tell with our bodies. We give ourselves physically to each other, but we don't give the promise of lifelong love. Because sex is designed to bring children into the world, sex without marriage is even more harmful. Because two people who aren't committed to each other and who never intended to be parents in the first place will struggle to embrace a child they may conceive. But a new child's life is always good. A new life is always worth celebrating, no matter how he or she came into existence. Your value and my value are not dependent on the intentions of our parents. While I knew my parents would not approve of Katerina sleeping with Alan, I couldn't imagine that they wouldn't embrace this new life. Most of my family are night owls, and Katerina and I continued to talk late into the night while my dad stayed awake upstairs with his books. Finally, Kat stood up and said anxiously, "Okay, I'm just going to tell him. Let's do it." We both marched upstairs and opened the study door. Our dad was in his recliner, his nose in a book. "Dad?" Katerina walked right up to him. "Dad," she continued hesitantly, "I have something to tell you." My dad put the book down. "Of course. What is it, my daughter?" "Dad, I'm pregnant." His eyes widened, realization hitting him. There was a moment of quiet. Then he started to reassure her. I watched as the tension on her face melted away. My dad spent the next 30 minutes affirming her and her baby. telling her that he loved her in his own gentle and philosophical way. He talked to her about responsibility and the fact that her life would change forever, but that it didn't mean her life was over. Instead, her life had taken a new direction and that beautiful things were going to happen. After a little while, as the conversation slowed down, my dad said, "Now we need to celebrate." He left the study for a minute and came back, holding 3 cups in one hand and a bottle of champagne in another. "I'm a granddad again," he said, grinning. He popped the bottle and began pouring glasses. "Dad," Kat protested, "I can't drink. I'm pregnant." My dad and I cheered for her instead. He sat back down next to Kat and said to her, "I know you know I am disappointed in how this happened, and I wish it hadn't happened under these circumstances. But I am so excited to meet my grandchild, and I am so proud of you." Over the next several months, Katerina wrestled with whether or not to place her baby boy up for an adoption. Our family told her we would support her in whatever she decided, and each of us wrestled with our own doubts and fears about how Katerina would become a mother, or how she would feel placing herself